Estamos hoy día con Alon Chen. Alon Chen es un destacado neurocientífico israelí que viene del Instituto Weizmann y ha hecho importantes estudios e investigaciones sobre el estrés, ¿no? Y las neurociencias. Alon, muchas gracias por estar con nosotros hoy día para la revista de Smart Coach. Alon, cuéntanos un poco, con todo esto que tú has investigado, ¿qué es el estrés realmente?
Thank you for this interview. Stress is the way that our brain perceives any challenge from the environment. Everything that will challenge our balance, our homeostatic system, will be considered as a stressor. And therefore, the brain will start a series of responses that we call a stress response, which involve many changes within your brain, but also to the rest of your body.
¿Hay algunas personas que tengan una tendencia mayor al estrés o esto tiene alguna norma? ¿Cómo funciona en las investigaciones que ustedes han hecho?
Definitely, it's a very good question. So, different people carry that, of course, both the response to stress and the way we perceive stress is very individual. Different people respond differently to different stressor. And this is depend on many things. First, each of us have a little bit different genetic makeup. We inherited our genes from our parents, and each of us carry small changes in our gene which eventually lead to what we call genetic predisposition, which make us more or less sensitive to develop stress-related disease. But also our response to stress depends very much in our previous experience. You can easily get also adapted to stress. If you meet a lion every day, it doesn't do anything to you, you learn that you don't have to be afraid anymore. So the response will be lower in a way.
¿Hay culturas que sean más estresadas que otras? Hablando un poquito de esto, de la experiencia previa, a lo mejor también cultural o de los genes, geográficamente hablando.
It's a good question. I think it's hard to know. Usually when you talk about Western countries, it's very similar. I mean, the percentage of people who are suffering from stress-related disorders is similar. Also, the level of stress in Western world is something that increases with time, with modern life. And so, it's hard to quantify, but it's definitely something which is similar between different places. There are differences in the percentage of people who are suffering, for example, from depression. But it's hard in a way to relate this into a specific condition. Of course, if you live in a country which is a war zone, the chances you will be exposed to a stressful event is, of course, higher. If you feel a bit more trapped in your country, again, this can give you a better, higher stress feelings. But it's something that is hard to, in a way, to quantify. At least not my research. My research is much more focused on what happened within the brain, rather than what happened in societies, in big environments.
¿Y qué pasa en el cerebro, puntualmente, cuando estamos enfrentados a este estrés? ¿Qué es lo que se gatilla dentro de nosotros?
It's a fantastic question. So, in a minute, we perceive stress, we're exposed to stress, regardless from what system. We can see something, we can hear, we can feel, we can smell something which is stressful. After milliseconds, the brain will activate what we call the stress response. And this response initiate the activation of many brain systems that will increase your heart rate and blood pressure, your blood glucose level will go high, your fear and anxiety level will go high, your movement and locomotion will change, your immune system will start working, you're going to inhibit your appetite or center in the brain which control your appetite or reproductive function. So almost every system in your brain and body will be recruited to this response, which is good. I mean, it's healthy for you to respond this way when you're challenged. But what is not less important is to switch off the response. When the stress is not relevant anymore, you need to switch off and restore homeostasis, restore balance, bringing all the brain and body system back to the initial steady state.
Justamente eso te quería consultar. Hoy día que estamos en una sociedad llena de estímulos, que además estamos en una cultura más exigente muchas veces. ¿Cómo podemos regular este estrés cuando estamos siempre con algo por delante, con algo que nos puede gatillar a una situación estresante de mayor presión?
It's again a great question. Meaning, I agree. Meaning, modern life are very stressful, and you need to find ways to cope, to reduce the level. So there are different ways. It's very individual. Some people, they work in the garden, or go to the beach, or go fishing, or meet friends. Everyone according to his own feeling. Scientifically, we know that exercise is very good for you. I mean, exercise is definitely reducing stress and allow you to respond better, or even improve the state of anxiety or depression. However, you always have to remember there are people that cannot do this or cannot cope, or the level of depression they have or anxiety is so high that they cannot go and do sport. So those people do need other solutions. They do need medication, which are not always very good. And we need to develop new ways of treatment to help everyone that is suffering from these diseases.
Tú planteas en tus investigaciones de que el estrés no es algo malo, por el contrario, cumple una función importante. ¿Cuándo uno pudiese encontrar que cierto nivel de estrés o cierto tipo de estrés es dañino para la calidad de vida de las personas?
And again, it's a very good question. Definitely, some stress is good for you, because stress eventually is challenging your systems, and it's good for you to challenge it. It's a normal response. Everyone have it. From fish to human, it's very conserved through evolution. However, it's again a very individual feeling. If you feel that this is start affecting you in a way that you don't functioning well, you don't sleep well, you're very anxious, you don't eat well, or you eat too much. So in a minute, you see that this is affecting your regular life, that in a way you don't know yourself anymore. Then you need to do something. And doing something is very different. You just need to find a balance. No, none of us can stop working. Okay, we need to work, or most of us, we need to work, we have a life, and our life, in a way, it's stressful. And we just need to find the balance between the stressful life, but also find the time to relax and do things that do good to us, to our feelings.
Alon, tú nos contabas que hay un factor genético que es importante, hay un factor cultural también que influye en términos de las experiencias previas. ¿Cómo poder llevar una educación respecto al autoconocimiento y el estrés también en la familia? Porque finalmente de ahí vienen nuestros genes y de ahí vienen nuestras primeras experiencias.
Yes, meaning we do carry in our gene sensitivity. So if we both can be exposed to the same type of stress, but I'm carrying genetic predisposition, I'm sensitive to develop a disease, and you will not develop a disease, because even if you're exposed to stress. So this is something we cannot do much about. If you carry, this is your genes. You cannot choose different parents. Okay, this is who you are. What you can control is the environment. Okay, the environment is the stress level, and only when your gene interact with the environment, then this can cause eventually a disease. So the only way to influence is the stress level, is the environment, and reduce the stress. If you know you are, for example, in your family, you have history of depression or anxiety disorders, you may be able to also develop such disorders because of this family connection. So you should somehow reduce the environmental stress or the stress in your life.
¿Cuál es el desafío que viene en la investigación sobre el estrés y cuál es el impacto que tú le ves a esa investigación en la calidad de vida de la gente común y corriente?
Main goal in the research is really to understand how the brain functions. Okay, what are the genes, what are the proteins, what are the brain circuit which interact with the environment, what are the mechanisms, what are the molecules. And after we understand how the brain functions, both in health condition and pathological condition, then the goal is to try and find or develop new tools for treatments, new molecules, new drugs that can fix this situation to help people to cope better. Because today it's important to know that still we approximately have 30% of people who don't have any available treatment. Not pharmacological, not psychological. They are not responding to treatment. So this is very important to develop new ways of treatment.
Finalmente, Alon, si tú pudieras darle, con el conocimiento que tú tienes de cómo funciona nuestro cerebro respecto al estrés, algunas recomendaciones, ya mencionabas lo del deporte, para poder tener una calidad de vida mejor, para poder sobrellevar o saber gestionar el propio estrés. ¿Cuáles serían esas recomendaciones?
I think eventually it's all about balance. You need to balance your life in a way that you cannot stop working, as I mentioned before. Your life is going to be stressful because you need to drive to work and you stand in traffic. Some people upset you at work and you go home and they have other issues. So it's hard to change those, but you always need to balance. You always need to find the time to do other things that can reduce those stress levels, which are very different, as we mentioned. You can do meditation, you can spend time with your friends, and you can go to a movie, you can go to the beach, or you can hike. Everyone according to what eventually is good for him. Okay? And you just need to find this balance. Some people are very good without doing anything to reduce it because they're much more resilient. They have a good genetics. Some people are less and they have to be more careful in balancing their life.
Alon, te quiero dar las gracias por esta entrevista, por haber compartido con nosotros tu conocimiento, tu investigación, desearte mucho éxito en lo que sigue de esto, porque entiendo que finalmente es un camino que a veces no termina, ¿no? Y desearte lo mejor en lo que venga acá en adelante. Muchas gracias por estar con nosotros.
Muchas gracias.